Welcome to the SwimSwam podcast. I'm your host, Coleman Hodges. Joining me today, Jake Magahey, all the way from, I guess you're in Atlanta, Georgia right now. Is that right?
Yes, Tequila, about 40 minutes away. So, yeah.
All right. Nice. Jake, how's it going?
It's going good. Thank you for having me.
Let's get into it. A little background on Jake. He was our number 3 ranked recruit in the boys class of 2020. He's a world junior champion. He went to the 2019 World Junior Champs, was on the gold medal 400 free and 800 freestyle relays. He can swim. I think you're like the most versatile high school freestyler we've ever ranked. Do you have a favorite freestyle event? Because I think, in terms, you can swim 50 to mile at a very high level.
I would say probably between the 100, 200, and 500, but I like them all for different reasons. So, I mean, I can't really pick one. Maybe the 200. Actually, probably between the 100 and 500, I would say. But very different reasons for each of those. So, yeah.
What do you like about each of those races?
The 100 is just, I don't know. Well, it's a sprint. It's an all-out sprint.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would call it 200 a sprint too, but 100 is, a lot more speed. And really, if you have a really good 100, you feel like you're flying, and that's what I like about it. The 500 is kind of course, be kind of, I don't know what to say, but you can't really call it a sprint, but
Mm-hmm.
You do have to be going fast the whole time, and I don't know. It's just you can really get into a rhythm with it, and you're still going. You're zooming again. Like, I don't know. I just like the feeling of it. I like the feeling of both, so that's why I like both of them.
Yeah. So I might have interviewed you once or twice on deck. I've certainly seen you swim before, but I've never gotten a chance to really sit down and talk with you. I want to get a little bit of your swimming background. How'd you get into swimming? When did you first start? I know you finished your high school career on Swim Atlanta, and you'd been with them for a long time. So when did you get into swimming?
There's actually a neighborhood pool about 2 minutes away from my house, like a 2-minute drive. And I started swimming there when I was like 4, summer league. And I wasn't very good. They say when I was swimming, I would sometimes like stop, and my mom was like taking a picture, and I would stop and smile for the camera. I probably did that until I was like 7. And really, I didn't start swimming competitively or year round until I was 8. And really, I was only doing it because my sister was doing it, and she was a lot more dedicated than I was. So I kind of was just dragging along until I would say it was 6th grade. I can't remember how old I was. I'd say like 12 or 11. I remember I got kicked out of practice one time because I just wasn't, I didn't care. I wasn't doing, or it was, my coach was doing a 200 iron for time, and she's like, all right, Jake, you're done. And of course, most people would be like, all right, sick, don't have to do 200 iron for time. But I remember that's when the switch happened. I was like, dang, like that's embarrassing. Like, I don't want to get kicked out again. And from there, I've been, I would say that's when it happened. I just kind of started, really focusing on working, like, giving my all, and I would say ever since then that's what I've been doing, and I think it makes swimming a lot more enjoyable. And yeah, so that's kind of how I got my start and where I am now.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think most kids would say that not doing a 200 IM for time is really what flipped the switch for them.
Well, it was weird because I don't know why I was upset about it, because usually I'd be like, all right, sick, I get to get out, but then for some reason I was just embarrassed. So yeah.
I mean, and I think that makes sense, and I think that's a great story because I've obviously seen the fruits of your labor in terms of your times and what you've been able to accomplish with that. And, that's super cool that you were able to have that aha moment of, okay, wait, I don't want that to happen again. Maybe I should make some changes.
Yeah.
So were you, when you joined competitive swim at 8, was that with Swim Atlanta?
Yes, yeah. There's a swim lane. I remember my mom was talking about it. She's like, they're opening a swim lane like 5 minutes away from our house. And I was like, I have no idea what that is. But yeah, I swim there. And then there's I actually changed locations because once you reach a certain level at the one that's like 5 minutes away from my house, you had to switch over to one. It's like 25 minutes.
Mhm.
And I've been there since I was 11 or 12. Or no. 13. I was 13.
Okay.
Because that's when I was getting all mixed up. Yeah, it was when I was 13. Yeah.
Gotcha. So that's kind of your first aha moment of like, okay, I do want to commit to this. I do want to, really maybe make swimming a priority. Did
Mm-hmm.
you play other sports growing up?
Ooh, I played t-ball. So when I was like 4 to 7, not really serious. Um, and I think I played one season of basketball. I've always been pretty tall, so everybody's like, you should play basketball. But I was really young. I think I was like 6 years old. My dad played basketball when he was in high school, and so he wanted me to get into that, but I just wasn't really into it. So yeah. But
And
besides that, yeah, no.
okay, so it's pretty much been swimming, since age 8 when you joined
Yeah.
Swim Atlanta, which is cool. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so tell me about when you first moved to the other site when you were 13. What was that a big change in terms of the group you were training with? I mean, do you remember your first practice that day?
Yeah, it was a big change just because, so I mean, you're switching over to a different location. Some of my friends from my old location were there, but mostly it was new people, and so I had to and those people that were in that group are some of my best friends today. But at the time, especially when you're that young, and you're a newcomer, it is intimidating, and it was a little bit of adjusting. Everybody had to do a little bit of adjusting, but it all worked out well. So yeah, it was intimidating. I remember probably for like a year, I kind of was just going through the motions again, but then I was able to adjust, and from there it's been awesome. So yeah.
Yeah. Did your sister keep swimming throughout her high school career as well?
Yes, she swam all 4 years of high school. And she was a senior when I was a freshman, so we got 1 year of overlap. But then she stopped after high school. So yeah.
Gotcha. But so when you had switched over to that location, she was there also.
Yes, she was. Yeah,
Okay.
but she was in
And
a different group.
okay, gotcha. um, do you in that first group you switched over to when you were 13? Do you remember was there one really good practice that kind of shifted things for you? You said it took about a year to get adjusted. You smiled, so I'm thinking
Yeah.
there might have been a good
I'm
one.
thinking. I remember. I can't remember what we were doing. So one of my actually good friends, Nick Kalanick, he's from my high school team. He's not swimming in college, unfortunately, but he's from all throughout high school. When he was about like about my when around that time, 13, I remember he was a big dog in the group, and I remember one practice he was gone, and we were doing a distance practice, and he was gone, and so it's just me and a couple of people, and I was just killing it. I remember the next day came back, and my coach was just talking all this crap to him, like saying like how Jake's gonna beat you, Jake's gonna do this, Jake's gonna do that, and I remember that. And I think that kind of flipped the switch in me where I was like, all right, I can compete with these dudes, and so yeah,
Yeah.
I remember
Did,
that. But
did on that day after practice when he came back, were you able to did you beat him or were you able to compete with him
it
in
was always
practice?
it was always close after that. I remember.
Okay.
Um, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, and I think as young swimmers, we all have those moments where it's like, oh, again, you mentioned flipping the switch, or it's like, oh, I can compete with these people. I can't,
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
think you're growing as much physically as you are mentally.
Yeah.
And so what at Swim Atlanta, what's like the top group?
Um, so it's kind of weird how you progress. So my progression was once I reached the top of Hamilton Mill, which is my old location, you go to if you're young enough, you go to age group,
Mhm.
which is like age group swimmers, like 14 and under usually. And then from there you go to senior one, and then you go to select, which is where I've been for the past 4 years. Or now I guess I'm not anymore, but yeah. So that's where I was my entire high school career. So the top group is we call it select.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And so, tell me about when you got to select. Was that also a big deal? Was that a big transition? You know, did you feel like you were a top dog at that point?
It was kind of a big transition just because I was one of the only freshmen in the group. Me and this other girl, Sarah Grace, who's actually going to LSU, were the only freshmen in the group. And it was, I remember, but I adjusted really quickly just because I had a couple older guys take me under their wing, you know, and kind of, I want to say mentor me, but they were kind of like big brothers to me and the group. And it's not like there was a couple other sophomores, so it wasn't like, you know, everybody was so much older, but that did really help having, you know, older people just, you know, like accepting me into the group and being like, all right, Jake's here, you know, he might be 14 or I was 15 at the time, and or I was 15, and yeah, just having them you know, accept me for, even though I was younger than them, did make it a lot easier. It almost made it easier than age group was, even though we were all the same age. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think you know, as you get older, kids become more accepting, especially in small groups like that. I think, you know, when you're little kids, you're just like, who's this guy?
Yeah.
And so what would you say the style of training was? Did you know, were you just, again, you were seeing you now, you're so versatile. You have so much range. So was there sprint training? Was there a lot of distance? Did you just guys pound yardage? You know, what would you say that the style was like?
Atlanta is very unique in that we do like outdoor practices, usually high volume, high intensity. So we'll be doing stuff like just absolutely crazy stuff in distance. Like we'll be swimming for an hour and like on without very little recovery, very little rest, just like basically straight swimming. And I feel like that's the reason why, I did become so versatile, because I've had to I had to sprint for just so long a lot of times. But yeah, I would say we would have Monday and Wednesdays would be our distance days, and then Fridays would be distance IM. And just some of the practice we came into Mondays and Wednesdays and we'd be like, all right, like it wasn't like, oh, is practice gonna be hard today? We were like, all right, it's gonna be hard. How hard is it gonna be? Usually. And yeah, it was there's some rough practice, but it honestly made it it was fun. It was a fun challenge. I always like the challenge of Chris giving us a set, and just being like, all right, you have to make this. It was we basically did a bunch of interval stuff. Just made it simple. I would say our practices are pretty simple. Yeah, also that.
Yeah. So what were some of your favorite workouts throughout being in that select group? Practices you did really well on, practices that might have kicked your butt. Give me a few. Give me an idea. Give me a few of these workouts.
Well, I would say one practice I did this year, like in October, November. Mm-hmm. We did it was a hunt. Sorry, sorry. It was 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, up to 1,000, all on minute pace. So that's a 5,500 on minute pace. And I remember Chris gave it to us, and I'm just like, it's always the same thing. Like he'll say the set, and we'll all just like look at each other like, is he serious? And then we do it, and I did really well on it. I think in those sets, I kind of just get into a groove. I was going like 57. I remember towards the, I was going like 58 pace on most of it. Like that was a good confidence booster for me. We did a set long course one time. It was only me, I think. It was last summer. It was 2,200s. I have to remember it. It was like 4 on 230, 4 on 225, 4 on 220, 4 on 215, 4 on 210, and I will say I did not make the last two on 210. This was long course too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, that was one of the sets where I was just like, all right, like, you know, I'm probably not making it. I mean, I was putting in all my effort on those, and I barely made the second one on 210, I remember. And then after that, I just kind of, I mean, I was still trying, but I mean, at that point, you're gassed. I think that's, I could pull countless ones. I used to write them down because Chris was actually fairly creative with how he always gave us different stuff. I mean, it was always very similar, but I mean, it was always different, if that makes sense. Like it was similar type of stuff, but we didn't do the same thing that much, at least not like short together. So yeah, I would say those two stick out in my head. Yeah, there is one set that's like 20. I remember this one. It's like 22 300s. Actually, I can't remember. I can't really remember this one. I remember it goes. So the first part of the set's like, shoot, I can't remember exactly how it goes. I have it on my phone, somewhere. But the last 300s are 300 on 240. I remember that. But there's decent amounts of recovery towards the end of that.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that one sticks. We've done that one a decent amount, but yeah. So those are three that stick in my head.
So 22 times a 300, and the last one is on 240.
Yeah, it was. But like it's the one before that. I remember the last part of the set's like, I think these are the last eight. The last 8 300s are, like 330. Like they might all be on the same like easy interval. So like 330, and then 255, and like it might be 335, and then 250, 340, then 245, and then the easy interval, then 240.
Gotcha.
So yeah, that one sticks on my head. Yeah.
Did you always make the one on 240?
I think every single time I've done it, Chris would time it and I would go 240. like right on 240. We've done that set like twice. I remember I did that set when I was a sophomore. And it was right before I left for National Select Camp. And I think I went right on 240, and that was like probably the hardest set I've ever done up to that point. And that was a big confidence booster going into that camp. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I might have been. I definitely have not been under 240 on those sets. I've been right on 240, as far as I remember.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, going 240. Let's not downplay that. That's pretty big accomplishment. Okay, so that's your club experience. High volume, high intensity.
Yeah.
So you had quite a few standout swims as a high school swimmer, including you broke the oldest high school record in the books, Jeff Kostov's public high school record in the 500 free. It was 4:16:39, done in 1983. And you clocked a 4:15:63 at the 2019 Georgia State Champs. Tell me about your high school swimming experience. Did you have a big team? Was that something that was really memorable for you, or was it more of just I would go to state and I swam fast there, and that's kind of that?
High school swimming, I'm so glad I got to do high school swimming in Georgia, just because, it was awesome. People take it, pretty seriously. Even our coaches, like at club, they taper us for high school. Sometimes even county and state. Where I live in Gwinnett County, we have a county meet, and then we go to state about 2 weeks later, and the county meet is a ton of fun because it's really just it's all the people I swim with, plus a few others maybe, but mostly just people that are in my group or are at Swim Atlanta, because the other, Dynamo is not really located in Gwinnett. So there's not really many dynamo swimmers. So it's really just some Atlanta swimmers swimming at this meet, and we all know each other, and it's just, it's just a ton of fun, racing. It's basically just, it's a big party. It's so much fun. But state is also, state's a little different because, it's everybody in the state. And that makes it better and worse, in different ways. But it's still a ton of fun. And really people, I've seen crazy, people have crazy swims just because, they don't want to, it's, I hate saying this, but it is a lot more of a team environment in high school than it is maybe in club. Mm-hmm. So, you'd never want to let down your team. So, yeah, I'll just say that about high school swimming. I think it was a great experience. I had a great team. We have a great coach, or we had a great coach. And yeah, I'll say that.
Yeah. Did you favorite memory from your high school swimming days?
I mean, I feel like I kind of have to say the breaking the record was pretty sick. The entire pool deck was cheering for me during that, which was just a great feeling, a very humbling feeling. But I would say one thing that's not as notable, but for me it is, was when I was a freshman. I was on a relay, the last relay to meet. We were on the 4 free relay. It was me, Chris Pierce, Sam Bodon, and Brian Smith. Chris is at BYU right now. Sam was actually an Italian foreign exchange student. He's in Italy. Brian's actually at UJ, but he's a student. I think he's at UJ. But they're all seniors. I was a freshman, and the entire year we're like, all right, we're going to win the 4 free relay at state, and we ended up doing it. It was a really emotional moment. I don't know. It was one of the most emotional moments in swimming. And that's just kind of how it was. Like, that's what high school swimming was to me. There's, it was like, doing things together as a team, great things like that. So it was awesome.
Yeah. I think that's to me that's the most important thing. That's what high school swimming brings to the table is, it kind of gears you up for a college team type environment. And I think, high school swimming is probably the reason a lot of kids do go on to swim in college, because it is, club swimming is great, but you don't always get that team environment that high school always brings with it.
And that's not to say like there definitely was some great team moments with Swim Atlanta, like when we won junior nationals this last December. That was awesome. But I mean, it just I think people understand what I say when I'm saying high school swimming it is more about the team, I would say, most of the time.
Agreed. Yeah, agreed. I think I think you hit the nail on the head. So that's that high school swimming, club swimming. Let's go national swimming. You made junior Pan Pacs 2018. Was that your first trip with the junior national team?
Yes, it was.
Okay. You were 16 at the time, I believe. Tell me about that first trip.
Oh, it was such a great experience. Really, that entire summer leading up to it, I was kind of like, that was my goal. I knew, that's just what I knew I wanted to do. And I was swimming, I swam probably like 3 meets that summer leading up to nationals, and I did really well and kind of knew that there's a good chance. But I mean, those are honestly, in some ways, Fiji was harder to make than Junior Worlds was. So, it was just unpredictable, but I think I got it. I think I made it pretty early, like second or third day, they told me, of nationals. So that was pretty sick. But yeah, the actual meet was, was awesome. Fiji's, beautiful. I would never, it's definitely a very cool thing to be able to tell people I've been there. Just, it was a different experience. Something I've never really been a part of like that. And I just remember for the first day I swam the 2 free, I medaled. I got a silver medal. Sorry, I remember that. I got a silver medal. And I remember being on the podium, hearing the anthem. I remember hearing the anthem, and I was like, all right, that's sick. And then the next night we swam the 4x2, and then we won gold. And then I don't know why, but when I was on the podium for gold and hearing the anthem, the national anthem, I don't know, just was a lot more meaningful to me. It made me like kind of, I remember that was a powerful moment for me, and made me like, kind of put things into perspective with swimming, and kind of make me realize, this is something I really want to be doing, and this is something, I want to, do more. So yeah, it was definitely a very good experience. There was some things I would take back from the meet. Like, it definitely was not a perfect meet for me, but I think the experience was one in a million, really. So yeah.
Yeah. And you talked about that gold medal, putting things into perspective, really, really kind of lighting the fire of, this is something I want to do more of. So talk to me about, kind of coming into the 2019 nationals, qualifying for 2019 worlds, and what you wanted to accomplish at that meet.
Well, I remember the year leading up to, after Fiji, I kind of had I don't know what to call it. I would call it a slump. It was a post kind of like success, because I made Fiji such a goal. I came back from Fiji, and I'm like, all right, now, now I do. And so I remember for a little bit, it took me a little bit to find again, but so I'd say that entire kind of fall was, it was a month-long slump, but I would say for the entire fall, I probably was not 100%. But, as soon as we got into the new year, I would say I kind of started going again and be like, all right, got to make junior worlds, because, I felt like there's a bit more pressure on me this time, because, I qualified for Fiji. So, I have to try to make junior worlds. And, I don't know, I'm just trying to remember the time going into the meet. I was pretty confident going into the meet. Just the events that I made probably was not what I expected. Because going in, I've pretty much always been a distance swimmer. Ever since I was like 13, that's what I would call myself. But, I had a really good 100 free at a meet in like May. And I talked to my coach, and I was like, let's just keep on trying the 100 free. And then I had another really good 100 free, like, a meet a couple weeks before nationals. And so we kind of realized, like, there's a chance, I could maybe get like a relay spot on that. And I'm on the 100 free his first day. And honestly, so I qualified, I won D final. And that was, sorry, that was probably my best. That was probably one of my best races I've ever had. That's why I say I like the 100 free so much. Just because, when you're going fast, like, you just feel like you're flying. And I love that race. And so the fact I made it in that, though, was awesome, because I didn't have to worry about the 800 or the mile. And I would much rather do the 100 over both those events.
And you didn't just make the relay; you made it individually.
Yeah. I was third. I was third. Out of the people that are eligible. But I think Destin dropped out, so I was able to get the spot, which was actually a shock to me. Whenever I'm surprised by a race, that's a very significant thing. I was very surprised by that race. Yeah. So yeah. I would say that 100 free is unexpected, but the 200 free came, and I got a relay spot on that. And then the 400 free, I remember that was a real dogfight to make, but yeah, that was I had a good 400 free at nationals, so I made it in those three events. And I would say I expected the 400 free and the 200 free, relay spot, but the 100 free I did not expect.
Yeah. So, take me through that meet. I've talked to Carson, I've talked to Luca, I've talked to Jake Mitchell especially about these relays. And it sounded like they were a good time, and it sounded like you guys had a really good team camaraderie leading into those relays. But take me through that 2019 World Junior Champs.
It was awesome. It's very easy to compare to Fiji, just because the two national team trips I've been on, and it was very different. Fiji was like a lot more laid back and chill, but Junior Worlds it's pretty like it is like one of the most official meets you can go to. It's pretty much like Worlds, just with 18 unders. I hope I don't catch flack for saying that. But that's kind of like the format. And so, I mean, just seeing like the whole official like setup they had, and like, you know, having to be in the ready room 20 minutes early, not being allowed on, you know, the deck, like having to be in the other, the warm up pool area. Just all that was honestly made it so much better for me. I really love the intensity, or I really love the intensity of the meet. So yeah, it was a great meet. I would say, you know, those relays were probably the most memorable experiences I've had while swimming. Should I walk through those? Because I know we've already kind of walked through those in the other ones.
Oh no, yeah. Give me your take on it. Take me through.
It was just I remember my night. So the first night, or the first day, I was from the 400 free, and I had a pretty good prelim. So I think I was like 5th going into finals. But really, I mean, I could have been 8th, and I would have been fine, because, you know, you're just trying to make the final, and then you got a chance to get a medal. And I remember, you know, I was kind of in my head, I was trying to prepare myself. I was like, all right, if I just, you know, believe I can, you know, medal, and have like a swim of my life, I can do it. I can get a medal. And unfortunately, that did not happen. It was a very fast final. I kind of wish I could change the way I prepare myself for that race. But it really wasn't a bad race. It was just ran out of gas towards the end. And so I remember that was the first event of the night. And I had the relay at the end of the night. So, you know, you never really want to start off the night with like a race that's kind of like, you know, like that. But I remember I just got in the warm-up pool, and I was like, all right, whatever, like switch it up. 100 free is a lot easier than a 400 free. And it was just, I mean, it was super easy just to be able to regain my confidence after that, just because, you know, having Carson, Adam, and Luca there to, you know, support me, and just all of us walking out. Just as soon as we walked out, as soon as you know, you hear Team USA behind us, like, it's like, all right, we're going. And I remember it was I don't know, stressful is not the right word. A very intense relay, because it was close. That was so much fun. A lot of people say the 800 free relay was or I would say like Carson and Luca have talked about 800 free being their favorite, but I would say the 400 free was my favorite, just because it's just because of how close it was and how intense it was. So,
and you anchored that relay, is that right?
I let off.
You let off.
Hey, I really don't know how to do relay start. I remember the coaches tell me relay start, and I don't know if anybody's, you know, people talk about my stroke a lot, like just people, my friends and my teammates, you know, always talk about my stroke, and a lot of things I do don't look very normal, and so I think that they saw my relay start, and they're like, all right, you're leading off. And I'm like, all right, that's fine. And, you know, I think I did an all right job. So those, just doing those relays was an amazing experience. So, yeah. I'll say about that.
So to wrap this up, you know, you've moved in to your place at the University of Georgia. You're home right now, but that, you know, that's what, an hour drive away or something. It's pretty close.
It's 45 to 50 minutes. Yeah.
Okay. And so you're just about to start classes. What, moving forward in the next few weeks, next few months, I know there's a lot of uncertainty about what things are going to look like, but what are you expecting? Do you have any goals in the next couple months? What, you know, you're about to start college, about to start a whole new training. What are you thinking?
You know, there is a lot of uncertainty, even now when I'm moved into college, and, you know, I have somewhat gotten adjusted. We're starting classes tomorrow. Mm-hmm. It's hard to say. It's hard for me to set anything in stone that I necessarily want to do. I just want to be the best I can be. I'm excited to start at UJ. I'm excited to, you know, train my butt off, really, because I mean, we don't know what's going to happen in the next year. We don't even know about, championships or meets even, if we're even going to compete. And, just all this uncertainty. There's only one thing we really can do, and that's just try to be the best we can be, and hope for the best. And so that's really just the mentality. That's how I'm looking at it. Also, in a new environment, just trying to get adjusted as much as I can, because I know it's kind of crazy because we're moving into this new environment, but it's really new for everybody just because of all the guidelines and COVID stuff. So I mean, we're really all in this together. So yeah, I would just say trying to go with the flow, trying to adjust, trying to make the most out of what we can from the situation. I would say that this year has not been really easy on anybody. I know I've had, I'm talking to people just even past COVID. There's a lot of stuff going on that's not great, but we just got to keep on moving on and keep on trying to do the best we can do. So yeah, that's how I look at it.
You've been listening to the SwimSwam podcast. Stay tuned for new episodes every week. You can take SwimSwam podcast on the go by subscribing on your favorite podcast platform. Look for links in the description below, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos as well.